June 25, 2009, Los Angeles. The sun is shining. The streets are buzzing. But inside one of the most private homes in Beverly Hills, the most famous man on earth is no longer breathing. The 911 call comes in just after noon.
Sir, we have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not breathing, sir.
Okay, how old is he?
He's 50 years old, sir.
50, okay. He's unconscious, he's not breathing?
Paramedics arrive at a mansion on North Carrollwood Drive. The patient is unresponsive. No pulse, no signs of life. The name on the report, Michael Joseph Jackson. Within hours, the news is everywhere.
Apparently, Michael Jackson suffered cardiac arrest this afternoon. He was rushed to UCLA Medical Center.
Los Angeles 911 operators took a call in regards to a need for a medical emergency.
Joe Jackson, Jackson's father, as saying he had a heart attack. He is not okay. His mother is on her way to the hospital now to check.
The king of pop is dead at just 50 years old. But why? The world is told it was cardiac arrest. But cardiac arrest is a result, not a cause. So what really happened inside that mansion? Why did the greatest entertainer of our time die in his own bedroom, hooked to a hospital drug never meant for home use? The answer isn't simple, but it's devastating.
Made me think perhaps this patient has a chronic illness.
He wanted to know what medicines the doctor had given him. I mean, there's an IV pole there. And Conrad Murray said nothing. He said he didn't give Michael Jackson any.
Because this wasn't just the story of a man who couldn't sleep. It was the story of a system that worked him until he broke. Michael Jackson didn't die of one bad decision. His death was a slow, quiet collapse that began decades earlier. Back in 1984, on the set of a Pepsi commercial, a pyrotechnic explosion went wrong. Michael's hair caught fire. Flames burned into his scalp. He was rushed to the hospital with second and third-degree burns. It was the first time he was given strong prescription painkillers, and it wouldn't be the last. Over the next 15 years, his life was filled with physical trauma, from grueling tours to broken bones to chronic back pain. Michael kept performing, even when his body begged him to stop. In 1999, he fell 50 feet during a concert in Munich when a stage lift malfunctioned. He finished the performance, then collapsed. His spine was never the same. But the show had to go on. And to keep it going, Michael relied on stronger and stronger medication. What began as recovery became dependency. What began as pain relief became addiction. By the early 2000s, Michael was facing a new, terrifying challenge. Insomnia. He couldn't sleep at all. Not for hours, not for days. Sometimes not for entire weeks. He tried everything, pills, therapies, meditation. Nothing worked. So he turned to the one drug that could guarantee unconsciousness, Propofol. Propofol is not a sleeping pill. It's an anesthetic used in surgeries. It's administered only by licensed professionals, in hospitals, with full monitoring. When it works, it knocks you out in seconds. When it goes wrong, it shuts down your body's ability to breathe. Michael Jackson knew it by a different name. He called it milk because it was white, and because it made the nightmares stop. In 2009, Michael was planning the biggest comeback in music history. 50 sold-out shows at London's O2 Arena. A tour titled This Is It. It was a deal brokered with concert giant AEG Live. The money? Massive. The pressure? Even greater. Michael was older, slower, out of practice. But none of that mattered. The tour had already sold 1 million tickets. Everyone expected perfection. To get there, Michael needed help. And part of that help was a personal doctor. Michael chose a man he knew, Dr. Conrad Murray, a private physician with a warm smile, a calm voice, and no background in anesthesiology. As part of the AEG contract, Dr. Murray was paid $150,000 a month to keep Michael healthy. But that wasn't his real job. Night after night, Dr. Murray administered Propofol in Michael's home. No heart monitors, no oxygen support, No crash cart, no nurses, just Murray, a syringe, and a man desperate for sleep. The mansion had a bedroom converted into a makeshift medical room. The doses were supposed to be small, but the risks were massive. Propofol isn't predictable. One night it might work fine. The next night, it might silence the brain's ability to control breathing. Michael Jackson was gambling with his life, and Murray was the dealer. June 24, 2009. Michael finishes rehearsal at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Witnesses say he's sharp, happy, focused. He dances, he sings. He hugs his crew, he talks about the future. This was the comeback. This was it. He returns home around midnight. He can't sleep again. Dr. Murray begins the usual routine. Valium, lorazepam, midazolam, nothing works. Finally, around 10:40 a.m. on June 25th, Murray gives him 25 milligrams of propofol through an IV drip. Michael drifts off. The doctor claims he leaves the room briefly. When he returns, Michael isn't breathing. In that moment, everything could have been saved. All Michael needed was oxygen. He was in respiratory arrest. His brain had stopped signaling his lungs, but his heart was still beating. Murray didn't notice. There was no monitoring system to alert him. When he finally saw something was wrong, he panicked. He didn't call 911 right away. He tried CPR on a bed where compressions don't work. He searched for his phone. He called Jackson's assistant instead of paramedics. Precious minutes passed. When help finally arrived, it was too late. Michael Jackson was gone. In the days that followed, Dr. Murray told a very different version of the story. He claimed he only gave Jackson a small dose, that Michael may have injected himself while Murray was out of the room. But the evidence told a different story. Propofol vials.
Michael Jackson, propofol and these other sedatives to put him to sleep, and that propofol should never be used.
4 bags, syringes, phone records showing Murray making personal calls during the exact window of Jackson's collapse. In 2011, a jury found Conrad Murray guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
That the reason he came to these conclusions was because Conrad Murray admitted that he'd given Michael Jackson propofol.
He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He served 2. Dr. Murray was found guilty. But was he the only one responsible? Many believe AEG Live ignored red flags. Emails later revealed internal concerns about Jackson's health. Some insiders warned he wasn't ready, that he was frail, that he looked terrible. But the show had to go on. Jackson was worth more alive than at rest, and tragically, he might have been worth more dead than alive. No one stepped in. No one forced him into rehab. No one stopped the nightly sedation. Because Michael Jackson, the performer, was a billion-dollar brand. Michael Jackson, the man, was alone. Michael Jackson didn't die from a wild lifestyle. He didn't overdose at a party. He didn't crash a car. He wasn't found in a club. He died trying to sleep. He died because the people around him failed to protect him. He died because the same drive that made him a legend also made him impossible to stop. He was a perfectionist, a tortured artist, a broken body with a restless soul. And in the end, it wasn't the fame that killed him. It was the silence. The silence in the bedroom, the silence of not breathing, the silence of a life that ended too soon. Michael Jackson gave everything to the world. And in his final hour, the world gave him nothing in return.